What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we got this Arrma Limitless that which I converted to a GT, and this is one of my fastest car. I did 149 mile per hour with it, but then I did something crazy. I did change the timing on the ESC to 18 degrees, which you never want to do. I learned it, and I wanted to experiment. Everything that you do in the field, you learn little by little. So I learned you can't mess with that timing. You cannot go beyond probably like 12 degrees. So what happened was it was so fast that it was going 190 mile. 190. I wish it was 190. 149 mile per hour. Probably at that time it was doing 149. And when I went to brake, it did not brake. It just kept on going because the timing was so advanced. It did not give the motor a chance to push in the power, and it was just moving so fast. But anyways, lesson learned. We'll do a video on data log, programming the ESC, braking system, motor system, throttle, reverse, all that, punch level. But anyways, in today's video, we got diff oil. 1 million. We're going to put it into the diff of this vehicle, front and back. Front is more easier. The back, you have to remove the wing. I'm sure you guys know how to do that stuff. So whatever I do in the front, you do in the back. We're going to put 1 million. And I did understand it all depends how much you put in there. If you put in too much, you fill it up to the max, you're getting a max out of it. The less you put, the less you get out of it. So we're going to pack this baby up, and hopefully by summer, it's going to be real serious this year in the 4-rings. Okay, so this vehicle, I got some tires over here. I just put it in there because it was put in a display. That's the hit it took. I broke a few things on this baby, but all good. It still lives. And the ESC took a beating and broke a fan. We threw in another fan. But today, we're all about the front diff. So we all over here. I did put this in front of one of my other cars. It's for protection because I no longer needed the Limitless cover in the front. By cover, I mean this canopy. No longer needed this front bumper canopy. So that got taken away. So we got this baby converted to a GT, Limitless GT. I will never say it's a Limitless. It has to be punched in with the Limitless GT. So anyways, let's take off a few things, and we're gonna go off the lift a little bit so we can see a little bit closer over here. And there it goes. So we're gonna take off a couple of screws. My tools are all over. Forgot the tools. It took a lot to build this car. Everything had to be lined with the body, the framing. There you go. That baby's out. Now we got a couple of screws in the bottom. We're gonna go back on our jack here. And we'll come forward. And right from down here, we're gonna have a couple of screws going through here. Come on. We got one more on this side. They're pretty long. Okay. Still, the screw has not coming out yet. There you go. Baby should release this now. Unless there's something else holding this guy. I think there's one more in the center. Yep. One more. Okay. That's not helping at all. That is not helping at all. Or is it? guy does not want to come out. So there's a hole right in the center. I didn't even realize there's one up in here. Only if this guy's gonna grab it. There you go. Still not out yet. And this whole thing comes apart. Push it to the side. Now we got 2 screws in the bottom. One is here, one is there. And we're missing one. We'll figure one out for there. Okay, that's that. And what I'd like to do next is switch up our tool here. We're gonna take this baby apart. This car did 149 miles per hour, but that was so far my fastest number there. But like I said, we didn't get a chance. The summer ended, and we didn't get a chance to go any further. Now, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna remove 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna loosen up these 2 right here. So pretty much, and then we should be able to take out the diff. That's 1. 2. 3. Just leave them right there. And the last one. Now, we're going to loosen up the 2 screws on the sway bar. 1. And 2. For the front, what I had to do every time was to remove this little guy right here. Okay, let's make this drill stronger. It's gonna drop our axles out of that. Same thing here, right in the center, in the bottom. Believe me, it's not easy to get the things back together once we're done. So far, looking good. We should be able to remove at least this little guy for now. And if we need to go any further with these little screws, we will. All right, so far looking good. What we will do next is I like to use this little pick I have here, and this pick should help me take off this little cover. Don't lose it. That's somewhere safe. Okay, notice this sway bar will go up and down. I like to keep it in the bottom. Okay, when I'm taking off this cover, I usually push it in the bottom right here, just like that. So let's just pop open this cover here. Got all of my screws out. Yep. There you go. So this cover, let's push this sway bar down, and let's remove our cover up. Technical difficulties. Having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Sway bar is like not letting anything come out of the way. So let's just push it up instead. And our cover comes off, and it looks crazy in there. It looks crazy. And our diff is right there. The diff is ready to come out. And The problem there now is these two screws sure will bother me. At least we got the axles out of the way. These little screws right here, they're always gonna bother you. Because they're gonna come and hit this axle here. The cups. The axle cups. But believe it or not, this thing's been more easier than my other car I did a few days ago. There you go. The baby's out. There you go. We're gonna change the oil on this guy. And we're gonna put that 1 million. So I'm gonna take a small break and gonna get a couple of rags. Okay, moment of truth. Moment of nothing, man. It's a moment of nothing. Moment of a lot of mess here. So let's wipe this guy off a bit. What we're gonna do is this is the diffs of infraction. Okay, the V2 infraction has different gearing. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy off. This car is pretty much a big hybrid here. Okay, 4 screws loose. And here comes the diff. You see, they put oil in that, but it was like only halfway. As you can see it in there, the diff is only packed halfway. Okay, right there you can see it better now. It's halfway packed. Anyways, let's get this baby going, and we're gonna turn our camera around so I can see what you guys see. So here it is. All we need to do now is just clean the heck out of it. What I like to do is take out the screws. We don't need to put this into any type of cleaner detergent. Just wipe it clean. Make sure you get every drop of it off this guy. Every drop has to come off. Looking real good to me there. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Gonna take off this guy right here. Okay, so that was one of my friends from DR. He just got back and his car didn't start. So I gave him a charger so he could charge his battery up. Alright, all this gunk gotta come out. Our seal stays there. And take a look at this guy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this guy out just like so and let it sit right there. We're gonna pop this guy out and let it sit right there. And we're gonna pop out this internal gear. Spider gears, baby. That's what these are. We're gonna let this sit upside down on this tissue so it can start to come out. Meanwhile, we'll clean up these little guys. I'm not even liking the condition of this fluid, maybe because we ran this thing several times. 139, 137, 140. 143. We ran this thing several times. This liquid is black, dirty. And not in good condition. So that thing, it cleaned out pretty easy. To clean this thing was super easy. So I like to hold these together just like that. Squeeze it, and the tissue just sucks all the fluid off. Since this fluid is nothing serious. Good luck cleaning once you put a million in there. Something different now. Okay, look at this, babies. Nice and clean. All the liquid is just gone. Okay, this is the second one, and this is, well, that was what we took out first, so they're the same thing, but I like to keep them in order. There you go. These babies are nice and clean. So all we did was clean these. Now the hard part, this guy, which shouldn't be that hard since it's liquid. It's just way too easy to get off. Look at that. One tissue roll, everything just came out of there. All I'm doing is I'm holding this back so the pin and everything just stays in position. And if it does move, you're just going to have to realign it. Nice. So, now the reverse procedure starts. We're going to throw this guy back in. And make sure it's nice and flush and turns. Now, what I want to do next is, you can throw a little bit of a million in there, but I want to put everything back together and then make any moves. So this guy goes in next. Okay, that guy goes in next, but the little spacing in the middle has to be facing upwards, just like that. It has to face up. And we're going to take the second one. I know I'm all over it with the camera, but it's just difficult to focus on the camera and to pay attention to this guy. Now the other one, the other groove on this one overlaps, so it becomes a solid shaft. And we just need to get this into a perfect spot, right where we want it at. Okay, now comes the crazy part. The crazy part. So we got everything clean. Mr. Clean, clean, clean. Let's wipe this off. Oh. So this guy is not gonna be easy. So I just put my finger there and just scoop it down into the cup. Push it in. And then I want to turn it, okay? I want everything to grab, turn back and forth, and it should be able to take it in there. Make sure you get good turns. And everything gets inside that cup. And you will see it turn, turn, turn. So I'm going to put a bit more, just a tiny bit more. And we're going to call it a day there. And turn a little bit more just to make sure it went all the way in. You see the housing emptied out a bit, so we're going to have to put a little bit more. Put this down. We're going to put a little bit more, and that should be more than enough for this guy. And then we're going to take our cup here, line the screws, Don't squeeze it in because it's gonna try to push everything out. Make sure you grab the threads on these guys. Okay, not aligned here. Not aligned at all. There you go. Felt the drop. Okay, that's one. Let's figure out the second one now. Did it drop? Did you feel it? Yep, yep, there you go. So when this thing squeezes, it's gonna just squeeze some of it out. Make sure you clean that off. Don't leave it there because that's gonna restrict your diff, the outer gears, the ring gear, and the input gear is not gonna perform as smooth as it should. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock this guy up completely, and we're gonna say bada bing, bada boom. There was a seal sitting on this, so that stood in place. So make sure your seal is where it's supposed to be at. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go clean this up. I'm going to finish out this, and then we're going to put this back in together. Make sure all this crazy stuff comes off, and look at that difference. It's hard to turn. Anyways, let me go clean this up. So this is all done, and got a clean diff. I'll put a little bit of greasing on it. Let's put this to the side. Put a little bit of grease on it. Cleaned it up really well out there. And we're gonna put this guy away. It's time to put all this crazy stuff that we don't need away, and bring the vehicle back. What we're gonna do is throw in the diff. Okay, what I should be doing here is, let me just clean this up right now with the finger since we already started. A little bit of dirt there. But anyways, drop it in just the way you took off. These axles are always on the way. And they're going to keep coming on the way. It's fine. We'll just push them out when the time comes. We'll just hang them. You know what? Let's make these babies struggle. The diff is not going to drop in very easy because of these cups on the side, but eventually it should just go right in. One side, and then we'll give the other one a try. Okay, we got everything stuck in there now. Use the pick to bring it back out. Okay, just make sure we're the correct way. Yep, that is the way it goes. That is the way, because you can put it this way. Just make sure that in the bottom there's a groove there, and we got that there right where we need it. And let's give it another attempt. Just don't want to force anything in there. It should drop in easily, which is not happening. Maybe I need to turn it now, but it's a little difficult to turn now since the diff is pretty much solid now. One side goes in, the other side doesn't go in. What's going on? There you go. And we need to push the bearings a bit. And our diff is almost in there. Almost. Not all the way in yet, but almost. It's not there yet. There you go. And we got a working diff. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna clean up my hands and we're gonna come back in a moment. Let's just take a look real quick on our working diff. If I turn the motor, the diff turns with it. Alright, a few things left. Okay, so next, we're gonna take our cup, diff cover here. We're gonna throw that in, and it should go in place just like it came out, just like that. If you have difficulties doing that, then there's an issue, okay? And we got our screws here. So let's figure out. Okay, let's put these screws in. Make sure you get them by hand first before you do it with the drill. Whoops. There you go. Forgot that I put them up here. And we got the last one. Goes down here. Remember to go easy with the drill, okay? I like to put my drill a little bit back on power so it's not that strong. And snug them a bit, okay, before you go crazy tight. And usually my drill will stop when it gets to that point because it's put it on low torque. There you go. There you go. The baby's nice and tight. We're gonna look for the sway bar cover here. So the sway bar cover goes in next. So this little guy goes right there. Make sure it sits properly and evenly so the bolts can grab it. And there you go. Now switch up our tool. And the procedure is the same for the back. Only difficulty is removing the wing. That's the only difference there. And we're locked in. We need to get the axles in. Make sure you get the axles in to the cup. And I'm able to grab these guys from right down here. So you gotta have a little bit of practice. So make sure this guy, the screw, the stud, sits flush. Because if it's crooked, you're going to destroy the whole control arm, and what you don't want. At the same time, make sure your axle, I like to straighten it up just like that. Once I grab it a bit, I look at the axle, make sure the axle is aligned, and there you have a go. I might have to do a realignment on this vehicle, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Same thing with this axle, which I got stuck between the control arm. Same thing here. Find and align the tool. That's the first thing I do. And this side's going to be difficult a little bit because I'm off to one side and I'm right-handed and I can't see. If you remove the vehicle's tires, that would be a good thing also, okay? So I'm going to get this guy, don't worry about it. Same thing I did there. Put everything back together. You're all done. And we're going to see how this baby perform. This is coming up summer 2022. We're going to get a bigger number and I am going to be changing the gear. We're going to go down to a 20 spool, okay? Anyways, thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up.